Looking at this, we considered the food value chain. What are the issues that are arising along the food value chain? And one of the issues that we identified was small portions of plants. We will find it difficult, and if I own small portions of plants, it doesn't mean that I practice a mechanized system of agriculture. And then what are other causes? For example, our data development for farming is also at the lower level. The process of soil testing, trying to know which type of say farm input to use in soils, or for different agricultural products, or for different crops or inputs is also quite limited. So because we find out that most times when fertilizers come, nobody asks what is this fertilizer for. So one set of fertilizer is that same fertilizer for yam, another farmer can use it testing, trying to maize, another farmer can use it for vegetable. So we don't have enough data different agricultural products or for different crops to utilize it. It's also quite limited for improved agricultural production. And then there is also what is this fertilizer for? There are one set of fertilizer, policies that fertilizer for. We have enough policies that another farmer can use to improve agriculture in the country. So the way these are implemented, the way these are followed or supervised is also another issue altogether. For instance, most of the government agencies, it's not that they don't have activities that they are doing. So we get them witness that they carry out activities, they carry out training, but when follow up all these things, or supervise implementation to make sure that things get to the proper beneficiaries or the proper farmers is also one issue that we have identified. Then there is also inadequate infrastructural provisions which affects these things as a roads, get one location of production and along the value chain, along the food value chain, there are different players. There are the producers, there are the processors, there are the markets, there is the final producer. So when you're a producer and you have to get straight to the final consumer, it becomes a lot more difficult for you, because those steps in the value chain which others are supposed to help you accomplish becomes more difficult for you to do, because that's not your area of control, because you're not a transporter, you're not a wholesaler, you're at education and training, or education and orientation. So there has to be proper engagement with relevant stakeholders, and we identify that, for instance, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture is got education. There is the Ministry of Education and there's the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. These are we deal with the processing, and then there is the Ministry of Transport, which deal with logistics. So if these these ministries can collaborate effectively to educate and orient, say, the farmers, the processes, the logistics, the transporters. Bring the policemen to that meeting. Bring them to the meeting, because these are issues along the road. When a transporter is taking goods from Kano to Lagos, there's a lot of harassment along the way, extortion, and these are the things that increase weight cost and makes it more difficult. They can be delayed in one position a very long time. So you bring them to that round table. What are the problems? Let's solve these issues together so that everybody knows along his own path in that value chain. Then also the need to engage with government to increase allocation of land to agriculture. At this point, most of government land, we have identified the issue of the land policy system together, so that everybody knows along this one, because most individuals own parcels of lands, which makes mechanization very challenging. Now, government have their own portions of land. We find out that most of government lands are usually allocated for infrastructural development. The government hardly allocates land. Most of government mechanization of agriculture. We have identified, you hardly find the state government or even the federal government, even through the Ministry of Agriculture, allocated for agriculture. The government needs to be engaged to begin to allocate part of their own land to agriculture, because they own larger expanse of land which they use for infrastructuralization of agriculture. But these can also be allocated for mechanized agriculture. Then there is improved alignment in regional soil ecology and environment. Now, some crops or some farm products grow better in certain types of soil. Without testing the soil and understanding the soil, not me as a person, if I want to go into farming, I have a portion of land. I don't study an I want to farm yam in this place. So nobody has told me whether the yam is good. So I need to be properly educated. I need to be properly guided before going into that place. Because we need to go to that land and understand the kind of products that will grow in that place. And unless most of the farmers do these things on their own. Nobody guides them. There are nothing to guide the kind of farm crops that will need to be implemented in those places. And that goes with agronomic practices. That is, each state's zones should be identified with their own agricultural. The kind of products like most of us we know of tomato juice, we know of red Sokoto goats. That is. But I understand that if you bring the red Sokoto goat, should be identified Lagos. It may not be tried here. So we need to identify these areas and strengthen what is working in those areas. And these things need to be intentional. And they need to be consciously carried out. The government also needs to invest in agriculture, and that also includes funding and support. Then there's also need to group farmers. See, when you can group farmers and make allocation to them, we know very well that in the country right now, one of the things that is affecting farming is insecurity. So, but it's easier for government to provide support. So, if government could allocate land to a group of farmers, it's easier to provide security in that place than when I decide to begin to farm on my own, I can calculate insecurity issues can really affect me, as opposed to when government decides to make such allocations to government, so that government can begin to look at some of these to find ways to begin to implement them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Group 7, I just want to emphasize, for those who don't know,
government can
the red
to look at some of these
Sokoto Gold,
find ways to
that's actually the red
to look at some of these
Sokoto Gold,
find ways to
that's actually where the Moroccan leather
thank you very much.
comes from. So when you hear Moroccan leather, the one that is being used it's not from Morocco. I just want to emphasize, definitely not from. For those who don't know, when the Moroccans came, Sokoto Gold, over 100 years is actually where they saw this red gold, and they began to trade in the Sokoto red gold. So the Italians and Europeans that were buying them called them Moroccan leather. One of the best used it's lost to Morocco. I just want to emphasize. However, for those who don't know, the red Sokoto is almost extinct now, because no one is making attempts to over 100 years is actually where they saw this red road. So we have a lot. They began to trade in the world. The Italians and Europeans, so I call them Moroccan leather.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone here. We appreciate everyone to bring our story so far. We appreciate that. I am Victoria Hassan, and this is group 7, the amazing group where we are speaking on global food security and climate change under the chairmanship of Professor John Osanya. What are the issues arising from this roundtable today? How do we tackle the issues raised by Professor Lani Okpara during his remarks at the beginning of this program today in the face of the climate change challenges that include temperature rising, drought, desertification, cultural upheavals, weather variability? What are these activities? How do we sort out these issues? And then we turn and look at the lessons that we have learned in the course of the issues. We said there is a need to leverage capacity development in climate-related change challenges. There is a need to leverage on commodities. We have found out that there is a need to use the NYSC scheme to go to rural areas for advocacy. We also said there is a need to increase certifications and monitoring, brand distinctions and promotions. What is the communique? So we now said, in the face of the numerous challenges, we have come up with this communique based on what Professor Okpara raised. The first one, he talked about production and productivity. And for those of us who heard him at that time, he said it's not just about producing, but it's about it's not about just producing the agricultural produce, but making sure that it's produced along the value chain. And that I said that one of the things that we should do is leverage on innovation in biotechnology for modification of crop varieties that are drought tolerant and pest resistant. We know that because of the climate change now, we just have to come up, make use of the biotechnology innovations to develop drought resistant crops and pest resistant crops. We also agreed that under productivity and production, we should increase advocacy and awareness of climate change to our farmers. Before now, when I was growing up, I know my grandmother told the people that it is going to rain another 2 days. But with the climate change, we are silent to do that. We also have agreed that there is a need to every step under the Ministry of Agriculture, but every step under the Ministry of Agriculture, but we think she needs to do something to inspire them so that they can go out to do their work and also to decentralize them. So it's not just that they're in Abuja, but that even in community levels we can begin to get this agriculture extension workers to raise awareness about climate change and food security. Under productivity and production, we also agreed on smart farming. Yes, in the group we said it's expensive, but why not, if that may be the only way we have to survive is food security that is coming up. We also talk about increased irrigation. Gone are the days where we have to wait for rain to come, for God to send the rain. Now let the waters be there. Like our professor said, the waters are rising. Why don't we drain these waters from the seas, the lakes, and then provide irrigation using it saving the harvest? Oh yes, because of the climate change, this year I got to last year, whatever it is, the harvest that we got, like our professor said, the waters are rising. And in this group we agree that to reduce food waste and food loss, you have to come up with processing new ideas, new innovation in processing along the value chain. And I remember one of us here gave an example of there are so much you can do in the market. Let these farmers know that even before the off-takers come, there is something you can do to take care, to sell this value and to take the market. We also agree that there is a need for aggregators to make use of off-takers. We don't waste the money. So if I am a farmer and I have invested 1 ton of whatever produce I have, I can gather it and give it to an off-taker who has the capacity to practice good distribution practice, to practice good ability as a farmer, just in farm. There is somebody ready to come and see. So what I'm saying that to save this harvest, let us encourage off-takers, whether private or even the government can be involved in that. Professor Okada was speaking about the use of data. If I know that in Benue State, where I come from, we have oranges at a particular time of the year, why can't we have off-takers? I mean, industrial hub where everybody can bring their oranges, and it is we exhaust the value chain in that orange to for whatever purpose that we want to get from that. So there's a need to put up industrial hubs in areas where we know that a particular product is that will reduce food loss. We also need to use of data to reduce food loss in Benue State. Yesterday, we had a class on teaching on how to do that for good agricultural practice and good manufacturing practice. If you look at that, that also has good distribution practice and good storage practice. No matter how small, let us teach our farmers basic good storage practice. Some of them, all they do is that some of the farmers, all they do is that as soon as they harvest their produce, they don't keep it somewhere. Something that the natural way that the climate change that we don't do something more receptive of it. So if they not do good storage practice, that okay, if this product is to market, it needs to be within this temperature, within this humidity, and they have the documentation to back that up. They have the product can stay 5 days longer, 2 days longer than the usual that get settled around. So that is another thing we are talking about, the need for good distribution practice and good storage practice. We also agreed on better infrastructures. We said we already have silos. These things were said that two of the silos have become certain other components outside the detention. Why can't we get to put those silos another point for the opera to be focused on the safety and good agricultural practice and good manufacturing practice. Whether we like it or not, the one we are involved in. We cannot do things to do it and to use. We are all coming from different backgrounds, different offices, different establishments. Wherever we are, even if you go to village for Christmas, you can sit your family down, the farmers around you, tell them a little about good agricultural practice, right? There's a need for certification. We have to work on certification, encourage farmers to go on certification. When we spoke about good agricultural practices yesterday, there is no way you'll be certified as with as someone who has started other practice, I don't have your product. People are waiting to buy your product. So that is about that. Then personal hygiene. One of the components of who manufactures agriculture and personal hygiene. We have to teach about farmers on personal hygiene. That's when you can have to imagine somebody has an infectious disease and is having a product that you just like those directly edible like carrot. Be sure that whoever is going to be taking that product is infected. But you see our farmers going to farm, like you said in the speech yesterday, no hand wash this, the education of the farm. Of course, you are sure that we cannot have safe food. So that is about safety. Market and trade, very important. What can be our national brand as Nigerians? What is that brand outside our brand about? We have cashew nuts, cassava, sesame seed and all that. The research of what you have to do shows like education is important. I work in an agency where we have found out that you must produce certain certification for certain countries to receive your product. If you find out people are going through the backyard now, but now they are coming back to us, you see that we give them that certification because our lab is able to certify the product to meet their country standards. So you can have the FDA, you can have the HACCP, but if you don't have the NAFDAC hygiene health certificate, they may still not take your product. So certification is important. Hopefully as is using as we move out of this place and our farms so that we need to see mechanization we must incorporate in them the need for certification. There are different certifications. We can look out for certification and encourage them to do that. Then one of us here said something about managing the bottlenecks and at the export trade point. Like we want to take our products outside the country, but there are challenges at the export point. Like the product will be in the container for 2 months because certain people have to sign certain documents, and these products have a particular shelf life. So there is a need to manage bottlenecks at export trade point. We also agree that the market and trade of our produce, there should be the congestion of the ports. Those of us who work there know the challenges that are there. Proper packaging is important. So as I have a product, if it's not well packaged, it will lose its value before it gets to destination. But if it's properly packaged, definitely it will get to the destination. So for us to have a national brand, we don't have a national brand, but having a national brand that will sell itself for us as Nigerians, we have to make up all these points. Lastly, capacity. Professor Fala mentioned a lot of things about capacity, but we are just looking human capacity. We have agreed, and we cannot overemphasize the need for training and retraining. And Professor John Osoma will say that in local languages. I cannot go to a typical Hausa community and I'm speaking English. No matter how it is easier to understand it in their own local language. So there is a need for training. We cannot say the farmers are not literate, they are not literate, they understand. The fact that they know how to till the soil, they know how to sow the seed, I bet you they are trained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There is a need for training. There is a need to optimize, to utilize the researchers and academia. I know yesterday I was amazed when the professor of Sokoto was speaking and he gave us data. You can imagine, there's so much she has. The lot of professors that spoke yesterday. Prof is here, climate change. They have so much. Let us start what they have and implement it. Let us get as much as we can and implement it. But again, we have agreed that because we talk about resources or money, getting resources, they need to use the NIC. It's not just for them to just start anytime. Don't go, but there is a need to use them at the rural areas. Then lastly, farmers should trust our researchers. So the researcher comes and says, this GMO will do this. Let our farmers agree. I want to thank all of us for listening, and I believe I should go back to our offices into our different areas and we'll be able to send the message of food security. Thank you very much.
Yes. I just want to add a couple of things for us to know that we are at a point where we should declare emergency.
I agree.
Madam is from Benin, but I don't know if she knows that the Ghana yam that is being exported is from the Ghana yam that is being exported is from Zakibia. But Nigeria cannot export the same yam. So you ask yourself, how would Ghanaians take our Ghana yam? You don't buy in one day. You probably buy in days, and then you gather Ghana yam. And then they will package it, export it, and it will be accepted. But we cannot package this in yam, drive to Lagos and export it. By the time we get to Lagos, the yam is spoiled. Like you had when you arrive at the airport, they open it for inspection, and your yam is bleeding water. But we cannot. How does it sound? So the Moroccans are Moroccan leather. The Ghanaians have come, taken our yam, and they have now named it Ghana yam. Onions. Egypt has now asked us, but do you know Sokoto alone can produce all the onions in all of Africa? And he said, a company came and said, see, we need about 4 metric tons of thereabout. But you have to do primary processing. We will take all of your onions and they will look for investors who will do this primary process. They don't get. So that big bag of onions in season is less than 5,000 naira. Yes, if you go to Maraba market, orange market, wait.
Yes, the season.
Forget about the naira. When it is out of season, you buy just 2 onions for almost the same amount that you are buying a quarter naira. Does it make sense? Yes. If you go to orange market, wait. When we were in Lagos, we used to hear of Ejakanu. When it is coming from Hadija Basin, they were coming from Lake. We don't have them anymore. And we don't care. You see, that is the problem with Nigeria. We don't care. Coming from Hadija Basin. In the late 50s, USAID conducted a survey of the Hadija Basin and came up with a study that said we don't have them anymore. Hadija Basin alone, which crisscross our country, we produce the rice that all of West Africa. In the late 50s, USAID conducted a survey of the Hadija Basin. Are we producing the rice? And came up with a study that said is Hadija Basin still there? How much is rice today? 100 and something thousand. When you go to Thailand, you go to USAID, or in the you see the survey where they are producing the rice. Are we producing the rice? And came up with a study that said Does it make sense? We say the Ukraine should come and help us and let us live. And they are the ones who have access to their ports. We don't have access to our ports. And that is war. And what is going to help us to declare emergency is what has taken place in these 2 days. So how she is going to drive this with maybe Ukraine should come and help us that we are going to now for want of time, the Secretariat will not be able to put all of this in the next 10 minutes and present to you. But we will help us to declare your stamp that this is our community. So this is our follow-up steps. And we're going to call on the private sector, we're going to call on government, and we're going to call on our partners in the US to come and certify all that we have said today in the next 10 minutes. And what we will do is take this exactly as it is your stamp and maybe flip it up, flesh it up steps, and we're going to call on the private sector. So the private sector that is all of this today in the next 10 minutes. What we will do is after that, Professor Bison will represent our partners from keynote speaker. I think Smithan was supposed to also in the next 10 minutes. Go ahead. Smithan next, and then Professor Bison, and then Professor just to certify that we have discussed and the outcome from this roundtable is on the basis of this. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. I'm Isaac Sunday John from Federation of Agricultural Commodity Associations of Nigeria. We are the umbrella body for about 70 commodity associations in Nigeria. We are invited for this kind of opportunity that we have presented discuss some of the issues that are actually affecting our commodity not to be accepted all over the world have been highlighted. And we need to take examples from Ghana not to be accepted all over the world have been highlighted. And we need to take examples from Ghana. Somebody was talking of certification of
my parents' ministry. Can I seek your consent to speak before you open? Thank you so much. Yeah, we cannot have problem because of this forum. We have respect for our parents. All right. Dr. Mrs. Imeto Andy, like I said yesterday, the Deputy Director in Agri-Business Development and Expansion. Thank you so much. Yes, we cannot have problem because of the development and promotion of MSME in Nigeria, both farm and non-farm sector. So I'm pleased that Smedan is represented here. And of course, we cannot be in this kind of round table to discuss way forward to ensure food security and safety without getting back the development and promotion of MSME in Nigeria. Because even right there is Smedan sector. I want to let you know that I'm pleased that a lot of Smedan is represented here. And of course, we cannot be in this kind of setting in our own table capacity to discuss way forward to ensure we have intervention programs like all of safety without one local development and promotion of products and for 7 in Nigeria. Because based on comparative outcomes, I want to let you know that I'm pleased that of course we look at the working government, we look at the treatment and this kind of setting in our own grants and of course road without we have intervention programs like agricultural development and empowerment program, which has two lands and farm. What does that mean? National and entrepreneurship policy. One part is product and marketing. This tells us that yes, at our own steps, we are looking towards having food security and safety. So after this program, I want to believe that the moment the report is reported by Director General, of course, economy. So there is no doubt that we will continue to work together. I want to believe that everyone in this house agree with us that it is time for us to do the trust. So there is no doubt that we will continue to work together. I want to believe that everyone in this house agree with us that
No, Federal Ministry of
so there is no doubt that we will continue to work together.
Security and safety. Actually, permit me to start on existing protocol. My name is Zakaria Adamu. I am Chief Industrial Officer in Industrial Development Department of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Perhaps let me use the opportunity to give background on what so far we offer in the ministry. As the name implies, the ministry handles or is in charge of anything that has to do with manufacturing, value addition. In as much as a value is added to a commodity or essentially raw material, that's all the work of Federal Ministry of Industry, precisely Industrial Development Department dedicated to seeing that Nigeria is industrialized. The rail sector is really a source of for Nigerians. And perhaps I just want to see moving forward how we can partner more with this very passionate, because it's really good saying that the industry is not part of the on source. I think we can take a consideration for the year, perhaps to give the message and the industry. Moving forward, we see how we escalate this kind of engagement with the organizers. Perhaps if you look at it, all the discussions concerned centered about the mandates of the Federal Ministry of Industry, and that we can't do alone. I'm happy that our sisters ministry is also very, very key. Is the perhaps for now championing the constancy of agricultural health. I think it's a tripartite movement that helps industry and agriculture, and then moving forward we will try to get this format for us to have the much needed benefit of this very important event. And personally, I have an opinion that this very event we should have concentrated on domestic issues, but thank God issues of export come to fore, which is good, because the emergency as it is, it requires that a separate time be for how we can satisfy our needs, like self-sufficiency, as we are looking forward for export. Because as it is already, there is scarcity, there is a gap. So if you have a gap, then the thinking or the idea of moving forward will be taken out for now at this very moment, no matter how important the export is. Perhaps I'm sorry to say the most difficult arise. Be that as it may, for perhaps it will be one phase for production. How can we meet our needs? Then a dedicated time will be made as well for how we think of exports, with emphasis on the domestic production. Because it's only when you have the plenty, then you think of taking it to other parts. Whether it's a premium gain, there's a premium gain in exports, the dollars, issues, and what have you. I'm an industrial officer. The priority is given to first, get points. So that are here, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Health, and our management from the academia as well as technical. I notice one thing that I have to mention. I notice one thing that I have to mention. I would have loved the real players in the industrial sector are here. That the real, because all this our discussion, we need to have carried along the industry players, the real industry players. Ambassador Nora Rimi and the Honorable Minister Dr. Doris Ozako. It's a pleasure to see presenting me here. And my director of industrial development, Mr. Mohammed Bala. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Bala. Now, representing academia, Professor Daladi Isa of Usman Fodio University.
I'm Professor Hassan Isa, the Faculty of Agriculture, Usman Fodio University. And on behalf of all the members of the here, I want to certify that the public institution is the result of our brainstorming and correction. So I can take
representing academia,
this one is sharp. I'm Professor Hassan Isa, Agriculture.
I sometimes take like two projects and see how that correction together.
Representing
this one is sharp. Professor Hassan Isa, Agriculture.
One thing that I want to our producers have you always check? Yes, one way I said yesterday how good and I think that one thing that I want nobody tries to spoken on that. That's what I keep. That's what so our consuming happiness is involving and managing. Our farmers also have from one to disagree with or minister about engineer talk about so we can only for because Africa I still consume Africa. My kids, even though they are born in the United States, they still continue to so you still have to cater for the local population and also cater for those of us. As I said yesterday, the population you also have to cater for that market. And that market brings in what? And that improves the economic conditions of those local people that are in the farming sector, the processor, academic institution, and the government. We have to find another roundtable where the actual people who make things happen must be on the table. Yes. Even if the minister is not going to be, so we'll have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting so that they listen and say, these are my commitments, this is what institution cannot. And the government has a crucial cannot. And the government has a country that has we have to find another roundtable. And Malaysia and all these other actual people who make things happen ahead must be on the table.
And with all the resources, even if the minister is not going to be here, so we have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting. We have to all the education with most of our free to attend that meeting. We have to all the education with most of our UK, Canada, United States, they come back here. There's still things that tie their hands. And they come as a country that has forward. We have to look at those things and see what we can do forward. We have to look at those things and see what we can do. Because we have my pride around and Malaysia, all the 12 people who make things happen ahead must be on the table. And with all the resources, whatever like the minister is not going to be here, so you have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting. We have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting. We have to free to attend that meeting. We have to. They used to call the Japanese those little people. United States come back here. There's still things that die and they come as a country. And so this is they're coming back here. We have to look at those things and see what we can do. What can we do? Because we have a pride around and Malaysia. Because we have a pride around and Malaysia. Because we have a pride around and Malaysia. 12 people who make things happen ahead must be on the table. And with all the resources, whatever like the minister is not going to be here, so you have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting. We have to South Korea. You have to find a day that he or she is free to attend that meeting. We have to South Korea. And we are free to attend that meeting. We have to Korea. And we are free to attend that meeting. We have to something free to attend that meeting. We have to our own genetic or something. So we have there's one thing that is when somebody does something as a character, we have to say that you don't even do it. When the will is something, move ahead and a modern and I don't see it cannot working look at the and the idea it's just what it means there are certain things that the United States is doing. Why can't you copy something else that is making the life of the real? Why should an executive rather under the theme of agriculture? She has a direct connection with the farmers. She has a direct connection with the farmers. And so that extension person has a connection with the scientists in that department, in that where they can always if there's something wrong in the field, he knows who to call in that backup. Say, probably I have this problem with them. What should I say? What it is. Why can't I do nationalism? I have to look all of you in the eye. Why are not nationalism? And it's don't think that what is happening what I say. So before I bring
I just want to tell you something R&B. Western Nigeria television. And he asked me, where's the budget? So he human resources and training. No budget, no one. So I said, you can see Al Jazeera, you can see CNN, you can see BBC, you can see Arise TV. Can't you people have a round table and discuss change the system? Because news casting is not the same today as it was yesterday. That's why Al Jazeera can be bored by their reporting of what is happening. But NTA doesn't move anybody. And he said, leave that matter for another day. Let that not happen in agriculture. And watch another channel. But you cannot afford to switch off hunger in your stomach. And I think part of what the representative of the Ministry of Trade was saying, Western, let us add value to what we're exporting. Let us keep the raw materials in-house. You cannot even do that if you are not globally competitive. And he actually, and that is part of what Professor Musa is saying. So Nigeria is not competitive. Training. Nigeria, no budget, no one. It's not competitive. I was in camp. Al Jazeera Friday, they were sending young boys to the mosque. You know where those boys were sitting? In the kitchen or have a round table with their legs outside and the boot open. Because that's nice. They were casting is not the same today as it was yesterday. That's why I cannot afford a boss. Because these boys don't know any other. You have this chair today, and you come in, and the hotel, where's the chair? Where I sat here, process that rice. All it takes is it not 6 months or 9 months? You will have rice. Thank you. So now, let me bring we can take it. Prof, you would like to come here? Just round it up and give his stamp of approval to that which has happened here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's been a very, very interesting and fascinating 2 days. I've learned a lot. I've also listened. I've also taken notes. You'll be surprised. These are notes from the conversation going on. And I do that even in my lab with my students because I tell them I learn a lot from them. So I've actually been well educated. And I want to thank all of you for the passion, for the interest, and for the energy that I see in the room. I think you've got something really good going on here. And the challenge now is how do we maintain this energy, this enthusiasm, and this passion. I think that's for all of us to think about. With the convening power of our host here powers me, and I think something to think about. How do you, moving forward, maintain and if possible, escalate this passion and interest here? irrespective of the sectors, from government to private sector. And I think everybody has a common interest in mind. And that interest in mind, to me, means we need to modernize and industrialize our agriculture and food system because it has not been serving us well. Otherwise, we don't need to come here, right? We need to improve. So that's something to me that really resonates listening to everyone here. That we also need to make sure that the points that we raise in the communique will begin to lead to the emergence of new, small, medium, and large enterprises in agriculture and food system. And these points in our communique will also enable the sustenance of the existing small, medium, and large enterprises, not just the new ones, so they can continue to grow, to serve us in the country, in the needs of the country. To serve us in the country, in the needs of the country. As I started, I mentioned that this is just the beginning, and the next challenge we have now, I expect us to take to our various stakeholders, is how do we, what's next? The action now determines what will happen. From my own, in terms of capacity building, as a researcher and academician, I've taken some points that I will incorporate into my program. Yeah, that's how we get information. So you've actually taught me a lot. Trust me, if we meet again next year in the future, I can actually refer to today and tell you what I've done in the groups that I've built, not only in South Africa, but a new group we're building in Nigeria to benefit from the experiences we have had working in other places. I think that's what I expect us to do here. And then finally, the responsibility does not lie with one person. It does not lie with the government alone. It does not lie with Pastor me alone. It actually lies with each of us. If we can begin to domesticate these points in the communique to our own organizations and to our own selves. Nobody should begin to think that their role is not important. Perhaps the advice that you give to your senior can actually begin to be what we really want Nigeria to be, and what we want our agriculture to be, and what we want our systems to be. So I want to congratulate everyone, our host, and every participant, and say that those points that I've listened to the communique, let's put them together.
As part of the wrap-up, we're going to call on the DG House to give the vote of thanks and to close this meeting. But before that, I would like to introduce the steering committee of PASME that put this together. So please let the PASME committee members come around so that I can introduce you. Dr. Kenji Ajoko, where is he? Okay, Dr. Kenji Ajoko is the Technical Director of PASME with extensive experience with the AU, with ECOWAS, and with the UN. Dr. Moses Timothy, is he around? Okay, please. So before Dr. Moses, Engineer Obasieto, please, a round of applause for him. He is also with the Raw Materials Research Development Council. Comrade Eferi Augustine is a member of our communication, and that's Dr. Moses, also a member of our communication. Lady Rose Iroquois, is she here? Lady Rose, I thought you were, okay, she stepped out. She's also with Raw Materials Research Development Council. And TJ, that's the guy on white. He's from Delta State, but his first name is Tijani. His second name is Musa. Then his other names, Ogene. So he's a complete Nigerian. Yes. All right, now let me call on the DG, CEO of PASMI, Dr. Henry Emejo, to come and give us a vote of thanks and to close this session.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I don't even know where to start. I think I will just let me stand in a well-established protocol since yesterday, and then today. You know, you already know my name. My name is Henry Emejo, and it's impressive since yesterday. This journey, you saw us, all of us see through, because not just us, all of us see it through. It's a matter of industrializing Africa with a focus in Nigeria, looking at US and Nigeria experience, because industrialization is the key word. When we had a conversation with our keynote speaker, thank you very much, sir. And then Professor Pisong is a pillar of this project. Thank you very much, sir. And then there are people who made this thing happen. Professor Tobeni, you know, all the time he dropped us a word in the committee. He said, this is excellent. Thank you very much, sir. And then I will not forget my sister, Professor Susan, who represented the Professor Florence Obi of the Vice Chancellor of University of Calabar. Thank you very much. She's an anchor. Do you know what happened? She had been in Abuja in the last 7 days. She's supposed to travel back to Calabar on Thursday to join us on Friday, to join us on Sunday. Unfortunately, no flight to Calabar for her to come back on Sunday. And she took a decision. She said, look, I will stay back. And she has stayed from Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And she's not going yet because the flight is on Thursday. She will do tomorrow and next. That is the situation we find ourselves. Thank you very much, Prof. And then another person that helped us in this interval is Usman Dafodio University. Their former professor, Vice Chancellor, was very instrumental to this project. And then they give us a gift in person of Professor Anladi. Sir, thank you very much. You can see how his conversation was resonating yesterday, and everyone was saying that is what you have to happen. Today, see where we are. And then looking at it, the US team, our brother Katambe Ibrahim, professor, is from Central University, Central State University. She's a network that connects most dots. She was here a week before the event to make sure that all the dots are connected properly. Thank you very much, sir. And then Professor Aramu, who is one of our speakers at this meeting, is a father, he encourages us a lot. Do you know what happened? He had a convocation meeting, and he postponed it because of this meeting. He said, because you have called us, we can't say no. And then for him to be in the meeting for 2 days, I don't think $10,000 can quantify it. But his experience, and then by where it's coming from. But he's here today, humbly with us, having a conversation. For our industrial development, with a focus in agriculture. And then not forgetting my team. The steering committee, they have been wonderful, from the director of technical director of Prasme to every team members. They have done very, very well. And then University of Missouri, African Center, African Food Safety Initiative, that anchored by our own sister, Professor Yemisi Jeff Abola. She came in on Sunday at dot, not Sunday service, she was here. She said that she had to leave her base to Lagos so she can connect flight quickly. I will tell us a secret. When she arrived, she said, if the flight, because she did not receive a notification, if the flight did not move, she will enter night bus. She will enter morning bus and come to Abuja and arrive here in the evening. Do you see a level of commitment?
Yes.
So this is how to move the nation forward. And then we can't take it for granted. It is a long conversation. But for me, not forgetting all the ministries, from Ministry of Health, our brother, he played a very pivotal role. He was in Lagos and he was calling. He said, what is happening? Oh, the letter said, they have approved the letter, the minister will be there. That we make sure the minister comes. Before you know, they cancelled his flight and shifted it till Saturday evening. And then here, he have also sent a very senior staff in his office to continue with us. He was with us throughout yesterday. So these are the engagement we are looking at to explore as we move forward.
Thank you.
And then, one of our speakers, Professor, who took us in climate issues, I will tell us just a brief understanding. And then he sent a chat. He said, I want to be part of this. And then I didn't say anything. We spoke on phone. I still didn't say anything. Suddenly, I said, sir, your name is in the list. He said, what happened? We saw the desire that we can move the nation forward together. And then we do not take it for granted. We do not. And so, every one of you who have made this thing possible, we will not let you down. We will look at the communique, we will look at the programs and the activities, responsibility from every agencies and see, as Prasme, there are three things that drives us: value addition, innovation, and sustainability. Three things. If you add value at every point in time, look at what happened. The African continent, the base of every industrial raw material in the world. We export commodities. We say no, we have to begin to add value. Value addition is critical. And then you don't just add value, you need to add value sustainably. These are the keys. And then I will wrap up here. Personally, as a confederation, we have about 64 affiliate networks across the continent. And then with our headquarters in Rwanda, Kigali, and then an office in Nigeria to drive African industrial agenda. And then we call on you to join us because it's a collective effort. And then we will see you as we march forward. And we pray that all of us will put hands together as a family. The ministries, all of us will collaborate to make it happen. The US partners will reach out them more. And then other development partners, African Development Bank, they just left. We all reach out to make sure that we connect the dots to move the country forward. And then Nigeria will become like a concept, where we test our concept and see the best practices. And then the ending note, I will say that you'll be seeing all our emails very often for more engagements. And then in that note, we will bring this very important US-Nigeria roundtable on food security and safety to an end. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. You heard the DG talk about affiliates, 64 affiliates across Africa. We have been recognized by the African Union. We're working in November. We're going to have a conference between West Africa and East Africa Economic Group here in Abuja. You will be invited. Now, we are calling upon you to join this confederacy. Yesterday, you heard the communication officer. Incidentally, she had to go to Lagos. We want to encourage you to pick up a form, and become a member of PASU. We already have Nigerian government organizations who have signed a memorandum of association with us, MOU, and please, it's important that we begin to bring ourselves together to create that synergy that will move all of that which we have discussed here today. A friend of mine, Professor James Landy, will say, it is not an asset that you group, work, and shop together. But the person that grouped it together, instead of C, made the mistake to make it S. So it became workshop. But actually, it is work and chop. So it is work, chop. So when you work, you chop. Lunch is ready. Let us go and chop.